The first question you may be asking is, why the fuck did I choose yellow as the color? I don't actually know if it's gonna show, but yellow's the color I chose. Why? Suneater. Come on, do you get it? I'm sorry, and I'm not sorry, all at the same time. Anyways, I'm here to talk about Suneater and how the culture is what makes it so special. Why culture is what makes this aspect of Suneater so, like, or what makes it such a masterpiece. It's one of the best parts of it. And I'm not going to go too deep into the whole series, but I will say two things. First section is going to be less, like, it's not going to be spoilers. It's going to be mostly spoiler-free. Second section will be spoilers up to Howling Dark. So don't worry. If you haven't gotten past Howling Dark, I'm not going to make you do that. It's just, actually, okay, I'm going to do a section for Howling Dark spoilers, then I'm going to do full series spoilers. And then I think that'll be very, very useful so I can make my argument here. All right, so really, first thing is, I mean, the culture already presented to us in Book 1, Empire of Silence. I think this is Empire of Silence? Yeah, that's Empire of Silence. Oh, man, look at this. Look at this cover. Sorry. I gotta just obsess over these broken binding editions because they're so beautiful, and this is one of my favorite series. But the way that the culture is shown, the way Hadrian, and let me be very clear, this is like the first couple pages, so don't get on to me about spoilers here. So that's the idea of Hadrian rejecting his own culture, rejecting the ideologies of the aristocracy that he was born into, that he is given the privilege of. And it's all throughout the entirety of this series, it is a war of culture, really. At its essence, it is a war of culture. I mean, even in this the cover that I have for Empire of Silence, you get the Imperial soldiers, and then on the other side, you get the Cielsen, whose cultures are just so different. And then the journey, I'm, again, not going to spoil anything of the journey, but the journey is essentially, hey, I have to make peace between these two people. I need to figure out how to piece these two things together. And that's what makes it so special. It's this journey of trying to figure out, can our cultures connect? Is it possible for a culture to be so different that we cannot agree with one another on any level? And is it furthermore possible to, like, what can we do with this? How can we create a merging between cultures that are very different? And I think that is it's such a masterful, brilliant aspect of Suneater that is so deeply integral to the story all throughout it. Now, I'm going to jump into spoilers up to Howling Dark. So, 3, 2, 1. All right, spoilers for Howling Dark. With the Cielsen and all those people, or the Cielsen who, they have such differing views on how to deal with any of these things, how to deal with all the problems that go on between these two cultures, because their cultures are so fundamentally different that they could never, after the realization of Hadrian, that it's like, okay, we are so different, we can never mesh, we can never be at peace, because their entire culture is war, is violence, is murder, it is submission, it is slavery. While I wouldn't say the Imperium is that different, it is more for peace. It does not encourage violence. It does not encourage full-fledged slavery. It encourages obedience of a different sort. It does not encourage the obedience of submission. And I think that it was one of my favorite parts of Howling Dark, in fact, was the idea that they don't have a word for peace. The Cielsen only have submission. I submit. There is no peace. Can we have peace? They have no word for it. It's not in their vocabulary. I thought that was so brilliant. It was such a brilliant play on language, in fact. I have a friend. She loves language. And so I keep telling her, read Suneater, because this twist isn't your conventional twist. It's the idea of, holy shit, this word doesn't exist. This word that is so fundamental to the culture of the Imperium isn't there. It does not fundamentally exist. That was one of my favorite plot twists of all time, because it's like, it took me a minute to really understand that they don't have the word for peace. In fact, it helped me really understand the differences between languages, that we don't have like direct translations. And so, yeah, they have a word for peace, but it's submission. You are not agreeing to one another that we aren't going to fight each other. It is, you won't fight me because you obey me now. And it's so brilliant, because it's that idea of we can't get along because the only way these guys are going to deal with any of us is if we obey their every whim. Oh my, it's truly one of my favorite plot twists ever in Howling Dark. All right, now, I'm going to give you another 5 seconds, and then I'm going to spoil everything. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. Really, I'm not spoiling everything, but I am spoiling up to Kingdoms of Death. But really, I'm letting myself off the handle, just in case I do need to talk about something that is beyond Kingdoms of Death. So, with the like this whole god-divine war that is going on, I think it's even better. I think that the dichotomy, the contrast between these cultures is even more exasperated, or I think that's the word that I'm looking for, where it's, we have these two cultures that, yeah, they're very different, but now we've provided a reason why. They worship two living gods who want very different things. Is that correct? It's actually, if you know the correct interpretation of that, I haven't read Kingdoms of Death in a while, and even when I was reading it, I remember having to reread the passage multiple times to really wrap my head around it. But anyways, the idea that they have two different gods, and it is their interpretation of these gods that the reason I say I believe it's two different gods is because Disquiet Gods mentions how, we see the god, I think. Do we see him? I'll let you decide that. But we see that god, we get to talk to that god. No, yeah, we get to talk to that god in Disquiet Gods. And, man, I'm now realizing how much I love the name Disquiet Gods. But it's that idea of these people who worship two different gods, and it is their gods that demand them to live by such different codes. This one obeys peace. The other only accepts submission. If you want no violence, that's fine. I don't mind that. But you obey. That's final. And we see that mentality in Doreika so brilliantly, where he is, everyone under him, they obey him. It's not, they respect him and they love him, because they are Doreika is their master. And it's so brilliant. And then I also think that even in their biology, they are so different. Oh my god. Ugh. So, if any of you remember what happens in Ashes of Man we come to the revelation of how Cielson have children. It sends shivers down my spine even thinking about it. Ugh. Ah, it's nasty. It's nasty shit. It's so nasty. How they have to put their eggs into a different creature and then it just bursts out of their belly. It's straight out of fucking Alien. Ugh, it's nasty as shit. I've never watched Alien, but it's nasty as shit. And just the fact that the way the Cielson live, their biology, it requires you to make another creature submit to your will and then have your children. You must violate. That is the code of the Cielson. While humans, they don't have to do that. They don't have to force this into another. You know, is it choice with the Cielson? I don't know. Like, if a Cielson has a child, can the Cielson, whatchamacallit, will the Cielson die? I think it does. It is always death in, so, I should say it this way, always death in birth, mostly not death in birth. Mostly not death in birth with the human beings. And I just think it's the dichotomy in the biology. They have been crafted so specifically to be opposites of humanity in both the culture and even in their biology. It is their conflict that, of course, drives the story, but it is the conflict in their culture that drives everything that happens in Suneater. The conflict of Hadrian Marlowe following this god, while the Cielson follow another god, and then this divine conflict being represented by human or mortal avatars is what is shown as the conflict. I think it's brilliant. That is why I believe Suneater is a masterpiece. That's not it, by the way. My favorite part is actually the struggle, which I'm saving that video for book 7. So just wait for that. I know I need to make another struggle video. Anyways, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed. If you've read Suneater, talk to me, you know? I love this stuff. I love Suneater. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with the culture war being the core aspect, or one of the core aspects, which drives Suneater forward, which makes it such a masterpiece? If not, please argue with me in the comments. I love to do that sort of stuff. I love arguing. So, as long as it's civil, let's not be uncivil barbarians here. Let's not be Cielson, thank you very much. Let's not beat each other bloody. Anyways, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.